Hey everyone, it's me, Ari Dawsett Rashid. I'm your anthropologist and sociologist. Thank you for being here. It's morning now for me. I just woke up a little while ago, was fasting and praying. I decided, you know what, it's time to do a live stream for you all. And I may lay down afterwards again. I just woke up, couldn't sleep anymore. And you know what? There's a topic I feel that many of you really need to hear about. But anyway, before we go there, please hit the like button, share this live stream, subscribe to the channel, become a member of the channel. Later, you can check my novels on in Barnes and Nobles, Amazon, wherever you can find them. If you wish to have a one-on-one consultation with me, check the fees and instructions in the description below. I offer packages, or if you want that personal consultation, email me. And also above that, please donate the links below. Thank you very much. Your donations are welcome and appreciated right now. And also, but above all of this, listen to this live stream, take notes, and pray about it, see what applies to you, and to whoever it applies, apply the knowledge to glorify the Heavenly Father. Before I continue, how are you all doing today? Let me know in the live chat, please. How are you all doing today? Okay, that's good, Maria. Ninja Vikings here too. I'm glad you're here. Glad you're here. Listen, when it comes to our breakthroughs, because remember, a breakthrough is called a breakthrough because there's a restriction, there's a resistance you overrule. So a breakthrough by default emphasizes there is a conflict. Okay. If a prisoner has served his sentence and he's released from prison, is that a breakthrough? No, it's not, because he has been released. That means the authorities agreed he served his sentence. Some people out there will be happy with that, but hey, he was released from prison. But if the prisoner breaks out of prison, now it's on the loose out there, now that's a breakthrough. Because he overcame a barrier installed by the public. Is this clear to you? Okay, let me repeat the example. If someone is in prison and he served a sentence and now they release him from prison, is it a breakthrough? No. He's been released. So there's an agreement with his new situation being out of prison because he served a sentence. But if someone is in prison and they do a prison break and now they're out on the loose without the public being in agreement with it, now that's the breakthrough. Because the public wanted something, namely to keep him behind bars, and he's out there. And the public even made effort to have a prison built he could be in. So he overcame the effort of the public. And he had an impact that the public didn't even want. So a breakthrough, it's called breakthrough, breaking through. You're breaking through a barrier. The thing is, a breakthrough does not relate to anything natural. A breakthrough also relates to something social that people installed. If there was no barrier by other people, it would not be a breakthrough. Okay, imagine now you are an artist. Okay, you're an artist, you sing, you're a singer and a songwriter. And you train very well, you play multiple instruments, so you're a quality singer and songwriter. You are. But for some reason, you still have a record deal. You still don't go viral on social media, despite being a quality singer. What is the problem here? Some would say, Rashid, it must be a spirit of delay. And it's true. There are evil spirits that delay things in people's lives. So I say, Rashid, maybe there's a sin they need to repent of. The issue is, there are a lot of artists out there who are deeply in sin and wickedness, and still they're out there in the public. There are even artists out there with a bad reputation, but still out there. So how come you, a singer-songwriter, you have a quality character and you have quality in your talent, singing and songwriting? Look, the question becomes, how come someone of quality like you is not supported by the public around you? That should be the real question. If people don't know you exist, okay, that's one thing. You can't support something you're not aware of. You can't choose something, you can only choose something once you know the options there. If you go to a restaurant and you look at the menu, and based on what you see on the menu, that's what you choose from. If your dish is not on the menu, there's no way you could have known. So, but what if you're a singer-songwriter and you've been out there, you've given, you had performances, you had social media campaigns, but still you don't break through? At some point, you need to admit that's not a demon problem you're dealing with. It's not an attitude problem, because there are artists out there with horrible, toxic attitudes and it's still out there. And your attitude is even a bad attitude. So say, Rashid, it's an advertisement problem. Well, you did your advertisement. A lot of people saw your advertisement. At some point, it needs to get through to you that a lot of people around you simply don't want you to have the leverage over them. That's when needs to get through to you. Think about, if you're a singer-songwriter and you're singing in your basement, nobody's affected by it. You are a singer-songwriter, you do exist, but because you don't have an impact, it is as if you don't exist. I mean, think about any musician or any artist out there that we know of. The reason why we experience them as the reason why um, we know about them, because they have an impact. If they were still in their basement making songs, we wouldn't have known about it. They wouldn't have an impact. They wouldn't have been felt. But because they're out there, they have an impact. Now they have leverage over other people. Listen to what I'm saying here. A breakthrough is only a breakthrough because there's resistance from the public. If you're a singer or songwriter and you're embraced by the public suddenly, all over the place, that's not a breakthrough because the public is in on it. It's a breakthrough when people are resisting it, and it still happens regardless. So a breakthrough is always the onset of a conflict. For example, let's say you're suffering from a terminal sickness. You're suffering from a sickness, and everyone expects you to die soon, but miraculously you survive. And you thought, hey, the sickness is in remission. I'm cured. But now you realize that people around you, they kind of seem disappointed. And you think, so why do people sound disappointed? Because people in their minds already buried you like you're going to be gone anyway. They already made arrangements in their life, prepared for your funeral behind your scenes. But the fact that you survive now means that they have to live with you with the full knowledge they already given up on you. And that's uncomfortable for them. Or it could be that um, you, um, it could be that you let's say when you went to apply for whether it's a job or a grant, whatever, and nobody expected you to be able to get it, but you got it. Now people need to adjust their expectations. Now people realize, oh shit, he got a job or he got the grant, he got this. So now they're disproven. And one of the people in the world can't handle being disproven often. Some are sure about it, but not everyone. What I'm saying is, let's go back to the example of the singer-songwriter. If you are of quality, you have a quality character even, the people around you should be supporting you because supporting quality is what we're supposed to be doing anyway as a species. If someone is uh, if someone is good at construction work, if someone has the talent for construction work, they should be supported in that. If you are of quality in character and you're of quality in whatever it is you're doing, and you still don't have deals being offered to you, you don't have grants being offered to you, you don't have people offering you all types of jobs, all types of whatever, I'm telling you, the people around you are not okay with you having leverage over them. Because the moment your impact increases, you have an effect over their lives. And they have to live with that effect. That's what it's about. But do you know that a lot of people don't want to face this? That it's a people problem they're dealing with? Yo, and this is the reason why so many people, after having their breakthrough, they face so much trouble. Why? Because they were operating in a fairy tale. They had a fairy tale attitude when it came to their situation. What I mean by that? A lot of people, they're so narrow-minded, they don't even see situation they're in. And the thing is, it goes back to uh, the false humility thing I talked about a few live streams back. Some people are terrified of admitting when the public or the community does them dirty. They rather blame themselves. Say, I should have worked harder, or I should have done that better. They keep looking for some fault of what they did wrong. And to outsiders, it becomes clear, bro, you didn't, or sis, you didn't do anything wrong. What are you talking about? I saw an, a documentary on Netflix about some plane crash that happened in Brazil in 2007. And it was this parent of one of the victims who died in the crash. And he said in the documentary, when he heard that the plane crash, said, "Oh, I killed my daughter." I got, I kind of paused uh, the, the, I paused the documentary for a moment. Thought myself, what is the guy saying? I killed my daughter. Was it your fault that the pilot eventually made an error and that the runway wasn't properly maintained and was all politics around it? Was it you? No. What do you mean I killed my daughter? What's he talking about? But let me tell you, that added over there, that the guy thought I killed my daughter, even though obviously he didn't. Obviously he has no part in whatever happened. Let me tell you, that added a lot of people have it. It's a coping mechanism because it's sometimes too painful and hurtful to admit when the public or the community around you does you dirty. And later came out that a lot was wrong with the aviation in Brazil at the time that led to this crash. A lot was wrong. But as a citizen, you pay taxes, you obey the laws, so you expect that the authorities take you and your well-being seriously. Well, in this case, it wasn't like that at all. So, yeah, if then one of your loved ones die of some accident that could have easily been prevented, you're going to feel quite horrible. You're gonna feel cheated, taken advantage of, all of that. A lot of people want to go to those emotions. They want to go to this realization because once you realize this, you have to realize, okay, if these people are this way, I cannot change people for the better. And these people may even lose it even further. So a lot of people don't want to go there admitting that the public or the community around them did them dirty. And you know what? It's this toxic denial that that gets a lot of people killed each year. Okay, let me give an example. Let's say you were born in a ghetto somewhere in the United States. Well, it's a common example because such things often happen. But okay, let's say you were born in a ghetto. You grew up over there. As in your late teens, 18, 19, you realize that, oh, I need to get out of here because nothing's improving over here. So you leave the place. You go to Los Angeles. You go to to Miami, or you even maybe go abroad, away to another country. You break through over there. You become a multi-millionaire, and now you want to go back to your hometown and invest in the people over there. Hold up, hold up. Something's wrong here. Can someone tell me what the hell is wrong here? Let me repeat the example. By the way, if you're driving a car now or you're in traffic, pay attention to the road. Stay hands-free. If driving and listen to the live stream at the same time distracts you from driving properly, then close down the live stream and listen to the replay later on. Or pull your car to the side and listen to the live stream. Safety first, please. But for those who are able to answer in the live chat, I want you to answer to me what's wrong here. Let me repeat the example and tell me what's wrong in this example. Okay, Kevin. Let's call someone Kevin. Kevin grew up in the ghetto. It was a backwards neighborhood, quite backwards. He, and in the late teens, 18, 19 years old, he realized he needs to get out of there because nothing's improving there. He leaves. He goes out of the US, big cities in the United States, eventually goes abroad, he breaks through, becomes a multimillionaire. And now, out of love for his hometown, he wants to go back to his hometown and invest there. Okay, that's example. What is wrong in this example? Please let me know in the live chat, please. Please let me know what is wrong over here. Because something seriously is wrong. Let me know in the live chat. What do you think is wrong here? I'll wait for a minute for your answers. I'll wait for another minute more. What is the problem over here? Within a half minute, I'm going to explain it, but I want to see which of you guesses already. One moment. All right. Let's go through it again. So Kevin grows up in a ghetto. That means the neighborhood was backwards. First of all, if the neighborhood is backwards, means that the people there are backwards. Because if the neighborhood is neglected, they should be complaining at the municipality or the county or wherever it is that authorities say it is backwards. And if things don't improve, they need to move out of there. So if Kevin still grew up in his backwards neighborhood, that means that his parents were not financially well off. That so means he couldn't afford better. Okay, but where are the relatives of his parents? How come they couldn't intervene and help Kevin's parents out for move to a better neighborhood? and all the other people there were still in the neighborhood. How come they're all in a backwards neighborhood? That means all their relatives and kin aren't helping them out. And okay, if the place was backwards when Kevin was a little baby, by the time he's in his early teens, there should have been improvement in the neighborhood. But if at the time he's 18, 19, almost 20, there's still no improvement, it means that the people there do not want to be saved. They do not want to become better. Simple as that. I mean, almost 20 years, that's a whole generation, and still there's no improvement. Are you kidding me? Not even the newcomers are contributing to change for the better. So, okay. Kevin also had acquaintances and friends or people he knew from the neighborhood. Okay. The fact Kevin realized he had to leave because nothing's proven there means that the people there did not have his back. And guess what? Kevin leaves. If Kevin left and he ended up with a 9 to 5 job, a common thing, nobody would have cared. Or he just found a job elsewhere. If Kevin would have left and he ended up homeless on the streets, it would have given narcissistic supply to his hometown, saying, "Man, that guy thought he's better than us, but look at him now. Ha ha ha, whatever." If he left and he ended up as an inmate in prison, the same thing. If he left and he ended up missing, people say, well, it would kind of validate people's backwardness of not taking steps in life also. But the fact Kevin left and he broke through, became a relevant individual in the world, that's not going to look good on his hometown. Because people going to realize, not a minute, how come you have to leave that place for you to obtain relevance? So now people everywhere Kevin goes in the world, holding speeches, all of that, people see him, the successful man. So people can look at his hometown, think, okay, where is he from? Oh, he's from this town, this borough over there in New York City. They're gonna you look at the borough like, so, hold on a minute, why is everything so backwards there? So automatically, because Kevin broke through, people see his success. They look at where he's from, and if where he's from is still backwards, everyone in that hometown, wherever, it's going to look bad. And rightfully so, because what have they done their whole lives? How come Kevin had to leave you guys to break through? He couldn't break through amongst you guys. So everyone was still there. They're looking back now. And they have to deal with the consequences of looking bad. You think they're going to be happy with this? Hell no. And what if Kevin was even mistreated in his hometown before he left? So now there was a negative investment against Kevin, and now the negative investment also backfires on them. If Kevin left his hometown and he was on good terms with the people and he broke through, even then it would be a conflict. But now, let's say he was mistreated by people there, so it's a negative investment and a backlash. So do you think in this case it is a wise move of Kevin to think, let me go back to my hometown and invest? What do you think? Let me know in the live chat. Let me know. Hell no. It will not be a good move at all. If he left on good terms and he broke through, people are still going to be upset that they look bad now, even though it's their own fault for looking bad because they haven't done anything in life. If he left if he left because he was being mistreated, now it's even worse. But whether he left on good terms or on bad terms, it doesn't matter. The fact he broke through outside of that place, and that place is still backwards, it means that it's proof that something's wrong with these people. Because I was going to ask, how come you have to go all the way abroad to break through? What goes on? If Kevin broke through and meanwhile the neighborhood or the community improved, there won't be any much of a conflict. Because people could now cover it up. But if the place is still backwards and you broke through, how are people going to cover it up? So let's say now Kevin being so naive, goes back to his neighborhood and buys an apartment there. And for time to time, it's in his apartment. It's in his apartment in his hometown. How long do you think it will take before he's killed? Just give an estimate. How long do you think it's going to take before he's killed over there? One week, a month, half a year, 2 years, 5 years? How long do you think it's going to take before he's taken out? Mm-hmm. Violet says less than 6 months. Well, that's a good estimate, Violet. Well, I would say, depending on how big his reach is, if he's just a viral YouTuber, it may take maybe a year or 2 years, whatever. But if he is a well-known businessman with ties to all the business hubs worldwide, I would say maybe less than a month or whatever. It also depends um, on the excuse people have. If Kevin, for example, has has an a vice of I wanted to go to prostitutes, they could easily use that against him. Or if he has a vice that he keeps smoking all the time, they could wait for him to go to the corner shop and then take him out. So a lot, there are a lot of factors in it, but we all know it wouldn't take long before he's attacked and killed. And do you know this often happens, not only in the States but worldwide, that people end up murdered or they just go missing, nobody knows what happened to them? Because they, in their naivety, they assumed that they now could invest their quality in a place that never cared about the quality to begin with. The Apostle Paul wanted to go to Jerusalem so bad. Jerusalem wasn't really his hometown, no. It was just the capital of his nation. But his nation was occupied by the Roman Empire. And the Apostle Paul was quite patriotic about the Judeans. But the Heavenly Father told him, as well as other believers warned him, don't go to Jerusalem. He went anyway. And my God, he got into many unnecessary difficulties, including spending 2 years in prison. So the thing is, you can break. Thing is, in the case of Kevin, he did not want to admit that it was his hometown that was holding him back all the time. He didn't think, okay, if I had to leave my hometown, okay, if you want to do acting at I don't know, acting schools in your hometown, that's different. If you wanted to go into aviation and there's no airport nearby, then you have to move towards an airport. Duh. But even then, did you have a backing from your hometown and the people there? If you had no backing from the people in whatever you're about to do, even if you didn't tell them what you want to do, but you hinted to your plans. Never just tell all your plans, we'll just hint to them what you're about to do in the direction. If you don't get any backing, then know very well that the moment you do succeed in whatever you're doing, they're the last ones to be okay with it. Or what if you didn't tell anyone, just left? The fact you didn't tell anyone means that you already felt like you couldn't trust these people. And people now going to feel robbed. Why? Because if you told them your dreams, they had the opportunity to resist you or to sabotage you. But now, they didn't even have the opportunity to say no to whatever you want to do. It just happened, and now they have to deal with it. So because they feel robbed of the opportunity to sabotage you, they're going to get angry with you. It may sound stupid, that happens also. So let's say you never told anyone about your plans or about your dreams, and you just did them behind the scenes and succeeded. Some people will be surprised and instantly be inspired by you. But most of those can be strangers. But the people that knew about you and will categorize you based on their viewpoint of life, they now have to change their viewpoint of life, whether they like it or not. They're going to they're going to feel robbed by you. And if your influence is an influence they can't easily tune off, they're going to feel like you're inside of them messing with them. They're going to feel molested by you. That's how they're going to feel like. So understand the following. If there is a public backing, it's not a breakthrough. It's a breakthrough when there is either resistance directly against you, or people resist by not participating. They act like you don't exist. They see you, but they act like they don't see you. Listen, whether people resist you directly through direct opposition into your face, or whether people just don't go participate in what goes on with you, in both cases, they have an issue with you having leverage over them. Mhm. So, a lot of believers, they don't experience direct in their face opposition. They don't. But one thing they don't notice is that they don't have people participating in what they're doing either. And think about it. How many demon possessed public figures do you have out there that things are working for them? They have a cash flow, they have a nice house, their businesses are going well. People, sometimes it's people who can't stand these individuals, but hey, people still give them space. But then you have you, and people do encourage you verbally. When it comes to their actions, they don't participate in whatever you're doing. Listen, they don't have to be interested in what you're doing. Let's say now you want to start your own pizzeria, and someone doesn't even like eating pizza. They don't have to come and buy your pizza if they don't like eating pizza, but still can say, yo, let me like this on social media. Let me share this with some people for those who do like pizza, whatever. Or it could be you are making rock music and someone cannot stand hearing rock music. But hey, because it's still something musical you're doing, so okay, it's a relevant thing you're doing, so whether I like or not is irrelevant. People can put their own feelings and opinions aside and acknowledge what you're doing has value. So because it's value, we need to recognize it. People can do that. The fact people are not putting their own feelings and opinions aside, and they don't look at the situation and say, okay, you have value. So your value needs to be recognized. The fact people are not doing that, it means that they have issues with you becoming important. That is what I want you to realize. They may not come out and try to criticize you, they may not come out attacking you, but if they're not facilitating the value you're involved in, that means they're opposing it. Simple as that. You listen, y'all. For example, I'm a novelist, okay? It's a creative thing I do in my spare time. I have over 20 novels online, y'all. More upcoming. Even if you don't like my type of novel, my type of stories I'm writing, at least you got to admit, okay, well, this guy is a novelist. Okay, he writes historical romance fiction based on Spanish America. So if you're into that, man, okay, here's his thing. You can at least admit I exist. You can at least talk about it. Even if you don't buy any novel, the fact you and your actions admit I even exist, that's alone means you're contributing to my influence. But if you don't even want to talk about Ari Dawson having all these novels, you don't even want to refer to it, even if people ask about it, what goes on? There's so many other people you refer to on a regular basis, even people you don't like or people you don't even know. Okay, what about you? Maybe you are, uh, maybe you have your own beauty salon. Okay, I may not go to your beauty salon because, well, it's not something I tend to go to. If you have a beauty salon for women, I'm not a woman, so you won't see me there going to your beauty salon. And if your beauty salon is somewhere in another country, how can I even go there? But you will find me talk about your beauty salon, telling people to pray for its success and all of the other stuff. Even if I can never be there in person and buy one of your services, you can expect me to recognize its existence and its relevancy. What I'm telling you now is you need to pay close attention, believers. Some people out there are broke. Financially, they're down. So they can't help you out nor support you financially. But what they can do is at least acknowledge your value and mention your value to other people, either on the social media or offline. I'm not saying that they have to become advertisers for you, but the thing is, just mentioning and acknowledging your relevancy alone will help you out. If they're not even doing that, I'm telling you, they have an issue with you having relevancy. That is what you need to realize. It's a people problem. So, a lot of believers, when they go through difficulty and they're praying, they're fasting, they're looking for a solution, what to do. And still, it's like nothing's happening. It's like the miracle doesn't happen. They get either discouraged or they begin to doubt it's really God's will, or no, don't go into doubt, don't go into any of that. Sometimes the Heavenly Father is slowing you down and delaying your breakthrough because you don't realize what a breakthrough is. You may still have this fairy tale mindset in which you think, oh, a breakthrough is when I suddenly have a big success and things are keep flowing easily, and then it's going to be a golden era of smooth things unfolding. You have this fairy tale expectation in your head that you've seen on TV, or you listen to these success stories. There are even success stories in church, testimonies you listen to, and based on these church testimonies, or based on these movies, or based on what was promoted in the media, you base your expectation. You don't even realize that the word breakthrough means breaking through. The word breakthrough alone emphasizes a conflict. So, because you don't even realize there is a conflict that you're in, if God would put power behind whatever you're doing, you'll have a breakthrough. But because you don't realize there's a conflict, by the time you break through, you don't realize the conflict accelerated. Okay, let's say now that you are um, a consultant, and let's say you have a lot of psychological knowledge of human behavior, and you start your own consultation business, okay? And you are praying to the client to get clients so I can earn cash. Listen, the more clients you get, the more people talk about you, the more relevant you become out there. Let's say you start your consultation business as a psychologist, and you're praying, praying, and praying, but you don't get any customers, no clients. You have to take part-time jobs just to keep yourself stable financially and all of that. You get the embarrassed thinking, what the hell? I started this consultation business. I have the degrees to give psychological insight. Why am I praying and fasting? Nothing happens. Listen, What you don't realize is that you alone started this consultation business already upset people because you didn't, because people had no opportunity to say no to you and to sabotage you. Fall mankind is obsessed with control, and because people had no ability to control you taking a step, they're gonna feel offended. Some people are, listen, man, some people are offended by you taking a step in life. You know that? You taking a step for yourself in life, there are going to be people offended by that because they don't take any steps for themselves. What you don't know is that your own parents, if they're still alive, were kind of murmuring about you starting this consultation business. They were saying behind the scenes, is she aware what she's doing? Can she really help? They were speaking doubt into your situation behind the scenes with other relatives. So you have relatives behind the scenes who were speaking doubt into your business when they found out you rested your business. There were people you used to work with at your previous job who heard about it and think, who's going to listen to her? I mean, because they have this view of you that's quite limited. Why? Because their own mindset is limited. So for them to expand how they see you means they have to check their own mindset will have to be revised. And because they want to face their own mindset, because they know their mindset doesn't end up, they don't get upset with you because she thinks she is whatever. So now you expect to get clients, customers, cash comes in, you reinvest in other areas, and this going to just go smoothly and smoothly. You do not expect that people to just cut you off out of the blue. You do not expect people to conduct smear campaigns against you. You do not expect to go to psychic violence. You do not expect to have court cases where people are making false charges against you in the courthouses. You do not expect people are going to send agents to try to sabotage you. You do not expect that you're going to become unwelcome in some places. You do not expect all this violence against you. Why don't you expect it? Because you had a fairy tale view of the situation. So as long as you have this fairy tale view, why would that without the power what you're doing? That's a recipe for disaster, y'all. You so when the Heavenly Father does not power what you're doing, He's doing that to keep you safe. Because God knows if He would power what you're doing right now, and you're not ready to deal with the backlash, because you have this fairy tale expectation what's going to happen, you're going to end up depressed. You're going to end up maybe want to take your own life because you're so overwhelmed by all the retaliation. You may end up being set up. And the thing is, there's one thing on said also. When you have an impact out there, it always affects other people because you have impact over other people's lives. So if you have impact over other people's lives, and now there is resistance against you, the people affected by you will also get some of that resistance as a side effect. Sometimes those people even turn on you. So if you have this fairy tale view of what a breakthrough is, why would God power your breakthrough? It wouldn't be a good thing to begin with. So in this case, let's say let's say you're a psychologist and you have this consultation business, and you've been praying and fasting for it, but after like a half year, still things not working. You need to start revising. You should start looking at your situation better, because there's something that Father always does. Before He elevates you, He will bring you low first. Listen to me very well. Then Father will bring you low before He exalts you, because when He brings you low, it's then that people will show what they really are about. How they truly feel about you, how they truly think about you, how they truly think about life and then about themselves. When you are low and nobody perceives any advantage, when you're low and people perceive like there's no advantage they can get out of you, they get more comfortable acting how they really feel and think about you. So God brings you low, and by bringing you low, people expose themselves. They do it unconsciously. And once they expose themselves, now they can't take back the words, can't take back the actions they're exposed. Either they improve now, for or they improve, become better and safe human beings, or they need to go. So God brings you low first to trigger people to expose themselves. And once it happens and you're totally freed from these people, now He elevates you. The one time God didn't do that, and He did that to give us an example of what would happen, was with Job. And we know what happened to Job. Everyone around him was against him, but they all pretended to be on his side just to get the advantage out of him. At the moment that the chance turned on him, they did. And here's another thing I want you to understand. People can be against you and still encourage you. Okay, let me say it right now. People can be against you and still encourage you. You will say, Rashid, why would they encourage me if they're against me? Let's be realistic here. If you are doing something of quality, if people around you uh, were not serious about quality, they say they are serious about quality, but really they just want to escape and get sympathy. If you have people around you who just want sympathy, they just want to escape. They will fake like they're all about quality, but they just want to escape. But you are real about quality. You make the effort for it. You being real about quality, again in results, it's going that's going to backfire on everyone who fakes being about quality. Thing is, people that fake being about quality, they are quite convincing. You even fall for it if there's somebody real around them. If everyone around you fakes being on quality, they say they're about quality, and they act, and from time to time, they put on an act, but they're really not about it. They just want to escape and get sympathy. Guess what? They're fake. But if everyone around them is just as fake, nobody's going to notice the difference. But when you show up, actually getting results and making effort for quality, it's going to look horrible on them and horrible on the people who've been supporting them all the time because everyone's going to dominate it. These people are never real about quality. They just want a sympathy. How come we didn't see that? So both the people that are fake as well as their supporters are all going to look bad now because you actually are succeeding in quality. Now, these people are now looking bad. They're going to be upset with that. And they're going to see you as the cause for why they're looking bad. And they're right, you are the cause because you being true in quality reveals they're fake, or or it shows they're fake, and it also shows that they should have known better. Imagine now you are let's say you're a therapist, okay, and you give quality care to your patients, and because of that, your patient eventually recover. Majority of them recover. Let's say that you go to a city and you begin to give some therapy. Let's say there was someone over there who's been in therapy for over 10 years. And in 10 years, they never ever had any improvement. But they come to 2 sessions with you and suddenly they're a whole new human being. This individual goes back, they're in recovery, and people can experience the recovery ongoing. And people will say, hold on a minute. Wasn't this guy who also had anger problems? Was this a guy who always had anger and addiction problems? How come suddenly he's doing so well? Now, eventually they can realize, oh, he went to this therapist, and that's after that he became well. But guess what? This guy has been in therapy for 10 years with various therapists. How come he never got any better? Thing is, he wanted to get better because he himself wanted to go into therapy. So it's not like he was sabotaging himself. He wanted to be better, but he never got better. But you come along, only 2 sessions, and he ends up his life improving. This man is going to realize dominated. So all these other therapists were faking it. Yeah, they were. But he had no idea all these therapists were faking it because, well, that's all he had. But when you come around with actual quality and effort, whoa. And not only he, all the bystanders are going to realize dominated. This man has been going to therapy for 10 years, no improvement. This new therapist comes in town and suddenly the man is better. Let me tell you, all the other therapists in town, people are going to start questioning them, rightfully so. And what if, so that also means not only those therapists, but the public itself around had an investment keeping this man in his low position. People got narcissistic supply looking at his bad condition so they could feel better about themselves. So people didn't want him to come better. So anytime he went to those expensive therapy sessions, people say, yo, you're doing good, man, go to therapy. They were encouraging him going to therapy. But they understood very well these therapists were shitty therapists who could help him out. But they still encouraged him. Why? They didn't tell him, look for another therapist or do this and that. They didn't even care about his recovery. They just wanted to get the praise of being good people. And that's why they encouraged him to go to therapy, even when they knew that those therapists weren't good for him. And there are people doing that. They'll encourage you just so they can get the praise of appearing good. But it's not that they actually care about you. Let's say you have this man called John. He has been going to therapy for over 10 years and still things didn't improve in his life. And yet all these people encouraging him. One day goes to a foreign therapist comes by. After 2 sessions, he realizes improvement in his life. How do you think this guy's going to feel about all his friends and family, all the other people who've encouraged him for 10 years going into therapy or staying in therapy? He's going to realize very quickly, these people never really cared about me. These people really never wanted me to do better. They wanted me to remain in a bad condition because somehow it made them look good. Uh, um, it made them look good putting up with me in a bad situation. When I was in a bad situation, they would always pride themselves being very good people for putting up with me, all that. So they didn't want me to improve. And let me tell you, just like this, John realized, oh my God, that is the impact you're having. Let's say now John is not realistic. Let's say this John doesn't want to admit that his own people were doing him dirty. In this case, he will stop going to your sessions. He'll start talking. He'll turn against you. And you'll think, why is this man turning against me? I came to his city. He was a stranger. He was in therapy for over 10 years. He got 2 sessions with me. After the second session, things improved in his life. Why is this man turning on me like right now? Why? Because this man has to admit that all the other people around him were fake all along. They were taking advantage of his bad situation all along. But because it's too painful for him to admit this, it's easy for him to turn on you. Let me tell you, believers, not everyone wants to face reality. Not everyone wants to process the past. Not everyone wants to admit when the public failed them. I'm telling you, everyone wants to do that. So if you operate in quality and quality is being seen by other people, your quality will benefit other people, but some of the people who are benefited by your quality will eventually turn on you. Because them having being goodly affected by your quality will reveal that the people around them were not of quality all along. And because they want to face all of that, but they have no choice now, they get depressed and upset, and who are they going to blame? You. So if you're operating in quality, developing yourself, you are going through improvement, all of this. Listen, the Heavenly Father is willing to back you up and empower you and expand you, absolutely. But He will only do so when you are fully ready to deal with the backlash that's coming. Is this clear to you? Okay. So unlearn these fairy tale expectations about progress and prosperity. Okay, but let's say now that you are ready. Let's say you're ready now because you don't have any fairy tale expectations anymore. Let's say you outgrew and under all these fairy tale expectations, you're realistic. You admit it's going to be backlash. I'm ready for it. You admit that the breakthrough itself reveals there's a conflict, and you're willing to have your uh, outcomes, regardless of whether or not it's going to be violence against you. You may be ready, but the question is, are the people around you ready for it? You may be ready, but are those around you ready for it? Okay, let me say it like this. Let's say now you have your own uh, podcast out there, just something small. Let's say you have your own podcast out there, and you are talking about cold cases, and you do a very good analysis of cold cases, an excellent one. Even professional detectives are praising your podcast. You're not a police officer, you are not a criminal investigator, but even police detectives with years of experience praise your podcast and endorse you. It's not something big, but the fact you have this podcast and you're endorsed by even police detectives, that means that your podcast has impact over people. You're relevant now. So you may think, Rashid, what does this do with other people around me? What if you have people who, for some pathetic, stupid reason, can't take it that you have importance in what you're doing? If they cannot hack your computer, or if they can't shut down your internet connection or do anything to stop your impact, they're going to feel like a loser. They're going to feel horrible, and they're going to blame you again. If they can't get to you directly, they're going to start looking, where are you working? Where's your job? Let's call it your job. Try to harass your employer to fire you, or they will try to find out your address, where you're living, to look you up, or they will try to see who you are involved with, and they start harassing these people, or try to, and if they're criminals, even try to, do something bad or whatever. It may sound very weird, but that's what a lot of people are, y'all. So if you are ready for the backlash, but the people around you aren't ready for the backlash, guess what? You will have your breakthrough, the conflict will escalate, and guess what? Those around you, because they're not ready, they are going to be floored and harmed by the backlash. Simple as that. And once they're floored and harmed by the backlash, instead of being upset with the people that did the harm to them, which is name the people who are opposing you, they're gonna turn on you. They're gonna blame it all on you. And you think, hold on a minute, guys, why all blaming me? I was not the one who used violence against you. I was just doing my thing over here. I mean, but let me tell you, that's such things happen. And then the people around you weren't ready for your breakthrough. When they end up being harmed by the people as a collateral damage because people are resisting you, guess what? Now they become the prime people that want to get have you gone and all of that. Listen, if you are not ready for your breakthrough because you don't realize it's a conflict that goes on, God will God will pass the flow of prosperity for your own good. If the people around you aren't ready, this is going to happen. God will pause your breakthrough for a moment, and He will give some time, not too long, but He'll give some time for His people to either get ready or to leave you. If people don't want to get ready and improve, God's going to remove them from your life. But here's the issue: some of you are so invested into people that God wants to remove from you. Why does God want to remove them from you? Because God knows these people are not ready for your breakthrough. And the thing is, these people are part of the problem because if they were all about quality, prosperity, well being, and all of that, they would have noticed, they would have admitted the quality you're involved in, and they would acknowledge that it's on them to facilitate it. Why aren't they facilitating your quality expanding? Why aren't they facilitating your prosperity? Or shit, these people that have a lot of cash. It's not about cash. Them running their mouth about you in a positive way already does a lot of good to you. They could bring in, they can get attention from investors, banks, all that other stuff. Why are they doing it? Why they run their mouth about all these other brands and products out there, and these corporations don't do much for them? Have you noticed people out there in the world, they run their mouth about that corporations, celebrities, politicians who don't give a damn about them? They get nothing in return. But now you have you over there actually wanting to contribute to the community, and you're out there doing your thing, and they're not, and it's like they're there. They clap for you once in a while, but it's like they're not there. Why are they participating in facilitating the, the, the success of all these corporations and politicians who don't give a damn about them and they get nothing in return? Why are they doing that? But when it comes to you, verbally once in a while they give an encouragement, but for the rest they're not even around at all. Because they are in a fairy tale mode, don't want to admit reality. And because you're all about quality and reality, they're not participating with you. So they're not ready for your breakthrough because they themselves never wanted your breakthrough to begin with. It's not that they hate you and want to kill you and all of that. It's not simply that they want to stay in this equilibrium of escapism. That's what they want. So if the people around you aren't ready for your breakthrough, either they get ready or God will kick them out of your life. So listen to me. When God, let me say this. There are people that will suddenly abandon you out of the blue. There are people who suddenly will ghost you. All that will happen. And you think, what the heck happened? It's natural that you want answers. What goes on over here? What did I do? What you don't see is that the hand of God was pulling them away from you, kicking them out. Some of these people want to stay around you just to look good, like they're doing something good by supporting you. But actually, we're not supporting you at all. They just were using you by acting as if they were supporting you, just make them look good. And if you would call them out on it, they would use it against you. See, you're an arrogant piece of shit, thinking you're everything. I don't have to support you, but I'm supporting you. Look how good I am. You don't appreciate it. So they're not really actually facilitating your prosperity. They're not. So they're not actually, it's not really support, not facilitating your prosperity. But they want to be around you, acting like they're supporting you just to make yourself look good. And if after you call them out, it's going to make you look bad, even though you're not bad, you're actually being real. So to prevent your falling into that trap, God is giving them one option: repent. They didn't do that, God kicks them out. So I'm telling you, when people ghost you, abandon you, or fall out with you for no good reason whatsoever, it's God kicking them out. The Heavenly Father is evicting them from you. Let them go. And let me tell you, you will experience rapid improvement the moment they're gone, y'all. I'm telling you. And it's once you experience this rapid improvement, you realize that, hold on a minute, they left and things keep improving. How come when they were around, the improvement didn't come? Aha. Because they were the reason why you didn't improve. That's why. It's quite obvious. It was not a financial problem you had. You thought it was financial. You needed to get the cash to make this happen. And indeed, it was true. You needed cash. And you couldn't get cash easily. But it wasn't the cash that was the problem. It was your attitude because you were realistic looking for a solution. It was not a demon problem because you have power over demons, and demons aren't even that powerful to begin with. It was not a logistical problem because logistics you can overcome it. It was a people problem all along. I'm telling you, some of you, If you would have gone to your breakthrough earlier, you would have crowds of people now exploding on you, dragging you through the streets to lynch and all of that. I'm telling you. And it would have been people you never expected. So, and if that would have happened, that would have hindered you in your destiny, because the people who should be affected for the better by your quality cannot be affected now, because you have all this uh, you have all this filth going out uh, uh, out there about your name. If you have full backlash against you, widespread, if that's going to hinder you into in business, having cash flow, it's going to also hinder you in forming new relationships, all of that. So it would actually block your destiny. So to preserve your destiny, which is important to give glory to Heavenly Father, God will sometimes weaken you and sometimes delay your breakthrough, just so that when you do breakthrough, your breakthrough will be worth it and not something that only lasts for a moment. Is this all clear to y'all? Let me know in the live chat. Let me know. And it's something you need to understand. If someone would say, I don't care about anything but being at ease, F you all, but make sure you are not bothered by anything dysfunction out there. Yeah, I do cause dysfunction by being uninterested and unavailable, but F that. I want whatever I want. I will what I will. You make sure I'm not bothered by you guys will. If someone would say it like that openly, they could even finish the sentence and people would call them out. What the heck is wrong with you? You will what you will? And however it affects us, it's our problem. But if we do something that you don't like, then suddenly, what the heck is wrong with you? What do you mean you're in a community, but you don't want to do your part, which is facilitating quality? How the heck do you want the benefits of the community, but you don't participate in facilitating quality, even quality from other people? What the heck is wrong with you? So that's why you have so many fake supporters out there, because they can't get away being completely uninterested. Because if they show how not interested they are, that will be on record. It can be, and it can and will be used against them, rightfully so. So they don't want their disinterest on record, so it can be used against them. That's why they're faking support, so that they can have an appearance of being good without actually being good. Because they know they can't get away with. They know that their narcissistic attitude is unacceptable. They know it. They can't be expecting quality and get pissed off when they don't get quality, but they themselves are not of quality. Neither are they facilitating quality in other people. What the heck is that? So to protect themselves from being called out by the public, they'll become fake supporters. Listen, y'all. Too many believers have their blessings on hold now, because God is waiting for them to give up all these liars. Listen, acting as if you don't owe anyone anything, acting as if you don't owe the community anything, acting as if nobody owes you, acting as if you have the right to be left alone 24/7, acting as if only the matter is your own comfort. That's a lie. That lifestyle itself is a lie. So you're a liar if you operate like that. Even if you always tell the facts as they are, you are a liar, because the way you operate is promoting something that's simply not true. So a lot of you all have liars around you, but you have no idea they're liars, because your definition of a liar is not the biblical definition. The biblical definition of a liar is anyone who acts out a lifestyle that goes against the will of the Heavenly Father. Anyone who acts out a lifestyle that goes against the will of the Heavenly Father is a liar. But because your definition of a liar is someone who says things that aren't true, that's why you're deceived now. Because some of these liars will tell you things that are true, and you think because they say things that are true, that means that they're true. Just because they say things that are true doesn't mean they're true, and especially doesn't mean they're true to you. It could be the act out of moral conviction or out of religious duty, or because they don't want to be bothered that by it later on. But it doesn't mean they are quality people, yo. So some of you have liars around you, and you're wondering why you're not prospering. Look, people can't get away being uninterested all the time. So they'll have to fake support here and there for their own reputation's sake. Sometimes God will let it happen because that will actually work out in your favor for a moment, but it doesn't mean God condones it. Neither should you. If they don't actually become better quality people, they'll have to go. Okay, let me give a quick example to you. Let's say, I already used this example before, but okay, let's say there's a problem with drugs in a country. There's so many drug dealers and gangs around there, and people are so fed up about it. And you have this politician that wants, or maybe not even a politician, you have this public speaker that wants to address the situation. But he only calls out the drug dealers who are selling drugs and should be in prison. It's the only thing he keeps talking about, how bad the drug dealers are. But you never hear him say drug dealers wouldn't even be drug dealers, they wouldn't even be relevant nor have any power over the public if there was no demand for the drugs. Because the moment he mentions that, people say, okay, but why is there demand for drugs to begin with? Because people are self-medicating. So we are coping with being damaged. Oh shit, so people are damaged now. Okay, so why aren't we admitting that people were damaged? And if people are damaged, who damaged them? Well, it must be the community. Oh, but this public speaker never mentions that. My question to you, is he serious of wanting the problem concerning the drug trade solved? What do you think? Let me know in the live chat. Is he serious? Hell no. He's not serious at all. If the public speaker would say, listen, there's another shooting last night. A few people were killed because of some war between gangs. These gangs thrive on selling drugs. So we need to ask the question, why are so many people self-medicating on drugs? If you have issues in your life, don't go to cocaine, don't go to LSD, don't go to speed or all this other stuff. Please, if you have issues, talk about it. If you can't talk about it because nobody wants to listen, yo, on this talk show, if you want, you can come, we can talk about issues. Or if you don't want to come here in public, I have a team. You can email them in confidential, and if possible, we'll help you find a therapist, whatever. If he would do that, oh my God, he would be serious when to solve the drug problem. But let's say now this public speaker only talks about how horrible, and it could be, and it is true that these gangs and these drug dealers are often quite horrible people. It's true. But by emphasizing how horrible these drug dealers and these gangs are, he's put the focus on them. He's deifying them like they are superhumans that are troubling the community. And that would make the police officers and the judges superheroes for defeating them. So this would happen. So you have this public speaker that deifies these drug dealers and gangs like they're superhumans that are troubling the community. And at the same time, you have these prosecutors and politicians become the superheroes dealing with these villains. But question is, will arresting all the drug dealers and gang members, will it solve the drug problem? No, because people still are self-medicating, people are still damaged. So all these politicians and these prosecutors who are, or defense attorneys, or whatever you want to call them, that go after these criminals, they're not heroes. They're just masking the problem. They're not serious about solving it. Even if they would dismantle all the gangs and cartels, because they're all in prison right now, and people can't get drugs anymore, people self-medicate on something else. And now the problem has shifted elsewhere. So now it appears like, oh, look at us, we're the good guys. We solved the problem with drugs. Okay, the drug trade has been shut down. However, what caused the drug trade is not resolved. So the problem has been shifted. Instead of it manifesting through a drug trade where people become drug dealers and form cartels and gangs, now it's shifted to maybe prostitution. So now you have prostitution increasing in the country. So the drug trade decreased, but now you have a lot of prostitution, or now may have a lot of people joining gangs, or not gangs, but joining cults. Went from gangs to cults now. But let's say now that you are, how do I say? Let's say now you have this public speaker who is all about being hard on the drug dealers and the cartels. And let's say now you support this guy because you agree with what he's saying. Just because you agree with what he's saying, that does not mean that just because you agree that your agreement is proper. If that individual is not serious about being part of the solution, what they're saying may be true, but it doesn't mean that they are true. So you aligning with them doesn't make them true. If they are fake because they don't actually, they're not really serious about being part of the solution, you may agree with them and think that they are about the solution, but just because you think it doesn't mean it is that way. And this has been the problem with many of these conspiracy theorists online. I don't want to mention names now, but you have these conspiracy theorists from the United States who blew up after the whole 9/11 thing. They developed a whole career, a whole following after 9/11, calling things out. But at the same time, they never offer solutions. It's always there's a big elite out there oppressing us. Oh, what can we do about it? Oh, we need to do this and that. So they mention the problem. They even explain what the problem is very well, but what are they doing to make sure the problem goes away? They're not doing anything. Just have a big following. It appears like they call themselves truthers or truth seekers, but are they? If they don't acknowledge Christ, then them call themselves a truther, it's even questionable. But even if they claim to be a believer to follow Christ, where is the fruit of their life? The fruit of their life is the impact they have. If they're operating in their destiny itself will reduce the problem. Again, when it says in the Testament that no corrupt communication come out from mouth, it doesn't talk about cuss words. That's an interpretation of church. Don't use cuss words, you don't use foul language. Profanity doesn't even exist. I will explain that. When the Bible says in the Testament, don't let any corrupt communication come out of your mouth, it's talk about you aligning with fakers. That's what it's about. So if you align yourself with someone who claims to be all about the truth, about solutions, be realistic, all of that, but in fact, they're not serious about it because they keep spinning around certain things, guess what? They are a liar. They're lying. And if you align with them, you are actually you actually are communicating corruption. Because that other individual is corrupt, obviously. You align with them, where they're corrupt or not, you are now corrupt communications coming out of your mouth. Because now you're participating in their corruption. There's nothing wrong with endorsing someone's points. If someone mentions facts, you can endorse them mentioning the facts. Okay, you can even endorse someone's viewpoint if the viewpoint is Christ is harmony with God's will. But the thing is, if they themselves are not true to it, that means they're still corrupt. They're lying to you. With their lifestyle, they're lying to you. If someone tells you not to smoke, smoking is dangerous, but they themselves are smoking, they're actually showing that they're self-destructive. If they admit they're self-destructive and they warn you not to become like them, they're not lying. They're actually being true to you because they're showing you that they're self-destructive. And they're telling you, don't be like me, destroying yourself. They're warning you from not becoming like them. So in this case, they're being true to you. But if someone keeps, okay, for example, let me give another example to illustrate this towards you. Violence against women. A lot of feminists love to come out and complain about violence against women over and over again. They have marched in the streets, they have campaigns, political campaigns, campaigns in school. But one thing you often see is they always point towards men. Men are the problem. And it is true that there are men out there who harm women. We're not going to deny that. There are horrible, low-life men out there who are taking out the self-hatred on women. It's unacceptable. We shouldn't condone it and it shouldn't happen. That's true. Question is, where do these men come from? They were born as little babies a few decades ago. So that means they came out of a woman themselves. Again, this is not an excuse, and this doesn't mean it's okay. It's just an explanation. If their relationship with their mothers was so horrible, that means that the community allowed the relationship with their mom to be so horrible. So they were failed by the community. If they had horrible mothers and the community did not intervene, the community were in on their mothers damaging them. So if you have a lot of these men who have mommy issues, that means that the community is fucked up and shitty for not looking after their own. So if you have all these damaged men out there with mommy issues taking out on other women, I don't approve of this man taking out mommy issues on other women. I don't approve that, absolutely not. If there's so many of them, however, you have to realize that, okay, we're not doing something right over here. So what a feminist should do is say, okay, if we have so many men with mommy issues out there, that means a lot of us women are failing. That means that what feminists should do is tell other women, listen, if you have sons, be the best woman you can be towards them. You don't have to over pamper them and spoil them. And you don't have to just give in everything they want because that's not good for a child, but be the best woman you can be towards them. Because you are the first woman in his life. As a grown man, he will treat other women based on the imprint he got from you. Okay? So if we see you, lady, neglecting one of your sons, we have a problem with us. Because you are one of the reasons why we women later have to deal with all these damaged men. That's what feminists are supposed to do. They're supposed to call other women out and say, listen, if you spread your legs and had sex and get the baby, you chose to spread your legs, lady. There are either you don't have sex or use anti-conception. But if you use anti-conception measures, you can still get pregnant. The moment you chose to lay down, you took the risk of getting pregnant, lady. So you decide to spread your legs. Now you have the baby. Own up to it, lady. Woman up. And lady, if you don't have a child yourself, you don't have children yourself, it doesn't mean you're free from obligations. Your feminine quality is needed in the community. Even though you're not a mother yourself, you don't have children yourself, your feminine quality should be experienced by the community. So what are you doing for your community, lady? It could be, you could be a foster mom temporarily for teenagers who are in trouble, or you could be a female role model for younger girls. You may not be a mom yourself, but you could be a female role model, at least for women to be feminine. Feminists ought to be calling out the women for their part. It does not mean that um, it's all the women's fault. No, just know this violence against women thing. A lot of feminists will act like it's a man problem. The men. No, where does men come from? Feminists should say, lady, if we catch you trying to cheat on your husband, if you have a good man at home who's dedicated towards being a good father and husband or stepdad, wherever, if you have a quality man in your life and we catch you treating him like crap, we're coming after you. We need men like him. We need men with healthy masculinity like him. Stop bitching about toxic masculinity if you don't value healthy masculinity. If the feminists are real about wanting violence women to stop, they wouldn't make it a man problem. Say, okay, this is a community problem, and women have their part in playing in it too. We can't just put it all on the men all the time. My question to you, how often do you hear a feminist actually calling out the community, including other women for their role? How often does it happen? If they're not calling out the community, especially not their fellow women, for their neglectful or wasteful attitudes, in that case, they're not serious about wanting to solve violence against women. They're not serious about the safety of other women, and they don't actually care that much about the safety of other women, even their own. Because if they really cared, they would realize it's a community problem, and women are also part of the problem. If a woman has low self-worth and she's seeking compensation through sexual activity, and she has a boyfriend, and this boyfriend molests her little daughter, this is also violence against women, but who facilitated violence against women? She did. She facilitated the sexual molestation of her own daughter because instead of examining the man, instead of examining the man, she's spreading legs towards. She should have examined the man before she spread her legs. But no, because she lacks self-worth, she wants compensation by sexual attention. But she's a mother, so she's neglecting her role as a mother just to get sexual affection. So she's an addict. She's an emotional junkie, neglecting her own children. If those children end up being molested, it's on her because she facilitated the situation. It should be called out. Okay, the man who did the molesting, of course, he should be arrested and put in prison. Hell yeah, we're not going to condone that. However, that man wouldn't even have the opportunity to act out his wickedness on his children if that mom was not was not this emotional junkie that she was. Do you know there are quite some women out there who are facilitating uh, unhealthy behavior in men? Why aren't they called out? What about the women who lie about sexual assault just to get back at the guy or just to get sympathy? Why is no movement of feminists saying, listen, lady, sexual assault and sexual violence are serious problems women face. If you even get it in your head to lie about this, oh my God, we'll have a field day with you. We'll cancel you. We'll destroy your career. If they would do that, I'm telling you, more men would feel comfortable being open towards women. Why? Because this thing right now, if a man is accused of sexual assault or rape, there's a tendency to just believe the woman and assume the man is guilty. But the moment turns around and say, lady, you better be credible with what you're claiming. Because if you're not, we're going to fill it with you. Guess what? You're going to have less and less female narcissists making false accusations. And by that, men are going to be more comfortable being vulnerable around women, and the relationships between men and women will improve also, and that will benefit the community. That means it's going to be less domestic violence overall. But again, are those false accusers addressed by those that lead those campaigns against violence against women? Those people that lead to these campaigns who are against violence against women, They call it gender-based violence, whatever. All these people are all about stopping gender-based violence, stopping violence against women, all of that, stopping femicide. Are they calling out the false accusers and these wasteful women who are wasting the community? If they aren't doing that, they're part of the problem and they're not serious about it. They're liars. I'm telling you. And the thing with a lot of believers is that we endorse too many liars because we don't examine what people are. Me, it works like this. If I hear you talk about something you're all about, you're advocating for, okay, I listen to you. I'm not going to assume anything. I see you advocating something. I'm going to check whether you're real about it. And the moment I realize that you're not real about it, I know you're lying. I'm not going to confront you about it and start an argument and a fight. I'm just going to leave you in your lie because you know what you're doing. Because to me, arguing with you is going to make me look bad. It's going to cause a lot of tension. No, we're not going to participate in negativity. If you're not real about what you're claiming, it means you're the liar over here. In the best case scenario, you're just mentally ill. It could be that you're mentally ill, and that's why you need help because you don't realize what you're doing. That's the best case scenario. But with a lot of people out there, it's not mental illness, y'all. They know what they're doing. They're liars. They're con men and con women, or they're conning you. Look, if, for example, if people want to stop sex trafficking and sexual exploitation of women and children, which unfortunately happens a lot in the world, if people want to stop that, they should be advocating healthy sexual expectations amongst couples. They should allow people to have healthy sexual outlets also. If they're not, if they're not doing any of that, they're not real. And if you have women who went rogue, they should offer them opportunities for redemption also. If they're not doing that, they're not serious about sexual health and sexual stability, man. They're not. Let's say someone says over here, I see what you mean. We need to be really skeptical about people's authenticity. When we're around people who act supportive but are idle, they're effectively actually hold you back. Absolutely. Look, what happens also is that too often we're very superficial when it comes to checking other people. If someone has social media and from time to time they give likes to other people, is that a problem? No. If they're doing this all the time, okay, now there's an issue. Okay? If someone is liking pictures of women in cute dresses, is that a sin or whatever? No. If it's a natural sexual attraction, God made it. It's nothing wrong with that. If they're married and they're doing it, okay, you may have to question. It could be whatever. But even if they're married, but they're not disloyal to they're not disloyal to their wife. They still look after their wife, all of that. Listen, though, their wife is not the only woman on the earth that is able to offer sex. Their wife is not the only woman on the earth that's able to have sex with them. It's just that they chose to be with their wife, but doesn't mean that the wife is the only option on the earth. Some women want to be worshipped. They want a man to worship them based on the fact they can have sex. And this has become normalized in the Western culture. So we have a lot of these toxic restrictions they put on men. Listen, your husband should not be cheating on you sexually, of course not. However, what's wrong with your husband having natural excitement when he sees pretty women around? What's wrong with that? He's not going after them to sleep with them, right? It should only see you like you're the only woman on the earth. Are you kidding me, lady? That's what I mean. Even in church, we have a lot of these weird restrictions we hold on to, and we judge people based on these weird restrictions. We don't examine things. And that's another reason why a lot of believers are doomed now, because they judge based on criteria don't even examine. On this channel of Manual, I, I've been examining a lot of these toxic restrictions that a lot of believers are promoting, but I also taught all of you to be realistic about how people operate. Jesus said, make sure that the light in you is not darkness. A lot of beliefs operate in darkness, but they think they operate in the light. The insights they have are holding them back. Let's see. So, okay, Violet here says, a lot of women have given up on relationship because of patriarchy. Okay, what is the patriarchy? The patriarchy is a system from ancient Greece. It was formalized by the Roman Empire later on, but it has roots in ancient Greece. But it has nothing to do with women. It has to do with which men can be dominant over other men. Now it was dominant in a sexual, violent way. Okay? So the origins of the patriarchy itself has nothing even to do with women. But it's something that works horrible on sexual relationships. That's true. But okay, so you have patriarchy and male leadership. If the women complain about patriarchy, why not look for healthy male leadership then? Why act like male leadership is patriarchy? It's not the same thing. So if they can't even explain the origins of patriarchy and realize it's different from male leadership, they're illiterate, they don't know what they're doing, and just following whatever destructive trend is out there. Okay, when I talked about Apollonian caste system, I did mention patriarchy, I believe. I mentioned also, but I did mention in other places. Patriarchy um, has its roots in grown men in ancient Greece molesting little boys. That's where the origin of patriarchy comes from. So patriarchy is even healthy for men, let alone women. But the thing is, if patriarchy it's been a problem and it's continued for so long, that means women throughout generations facilitated patriarchy. So don't just say, oh, the patriarchy is the problem for women and it's all the men's fault. These men came out of a woman themselves, their mothers. You mean tell for generations, mothers kept bringing forth sons. They kept oppressing women. So the women had no role in patriarchy. Are you kidding me? Okay. Calvin says we need an Apollonian caste system part 2. So I'll make another live stream soon about this Apollonian caste system in the of the world. I'll do that. I might do it later today. I'm going to take a little nap after this, and then throughout the day I can do it. But just understand the following: in life out here, you have a lot of lives out there. Again, someone can be dysfunctional. If someone is dysfunctional, then that doesn't mean they're a liar. It just means they're dysfunctional. Again, if someone is a smoker, a chain smoker, and he warned you against smoking, guess what? They're smoking themselves, damaging themselves, and telling you don't do it. They're actually showing you that they're dysfunctional. Don't be like me. So being dysfunctional and being a liar are two completely different things. A liar is someone that externally insists on a value they don't want to be part of. That's what a liar is. And you have way too many people out there like that. Some of them even get charms and have performance demons help them out in performing. Yes, You have people out there who turn to witchcraft and black magic to get a good performance to convince you they're all about certain values. But in reality, they don't want these values. They can't openly say they want to escape all the time, but they do want to be taken care of. They can't say that because it's narcissistic. It's not only selfish narcissistic, it's pathetic. They can't get away with it. So that's why they have this big performance, even powered by demons, to convince you that they're valuable people that want good, but in reality, they're not. That's why they only emphasize certain things, but not the other. Look, if you have people like this around you, again, don't confront them, don't argue with them. It's first of all, it's going to be painful and hurtful to admit there's people like this, admit it's how they are, experience the pain. If you need to cry, cry, go to therapy, whatever you need, and then move on. Outgrow these people, I'm telling you. You won't get far in life with people like that. As a matter of fact, they are the reason why you are at right now. And that's what believers need to learn to discern better what they're dealing with. Amen. Anyway, are there any questions about this topic? Let me know. Later today, I will make another live stream about uploading cost system. I don't know if you guys will still be awake. Likely not, because some of you from the United States, so you'll be sleeping then. But I'll do it later today. But for you now, listen. I want you to prosper in life. I want you to prosper and glorify the Heavenly Father. For that to happen, you need to break through. You will never have the whole population backing you. Because if people don't even value themselves properly, how are they going to value you? It's not going to happen. Listen, I want you to break through. I want you to be ready for it. And I want you to realize that we have quite some liars amongst us, y'all. Do not fight off these liars. That's a trap from Satan. It'll only bring trouble. But also don't condone them and yoke yourself with them. If you see they are a liar and you have to deal with them for practical reasons, deal with them for practical reasons. Use their presence in your life. I don't say abuse them. Use them. If they can, if they have connections, let's say you're in finance and they have connections with other financial institutions. Use your involvement with them to get their connections to get things done. There's nothing wrong with that because they're using you too without you being aware of it. But don't abuse them. You don't take advantage of them nor abuse them, but use their presence in your life for practical reasons to get so that you can do God's will. But do not get yoked with these people, y'all. I'm telling you, do not get yoked to them. Do not get yoked with them. Walk in love towards them. Use their presence in your life for practical reasons, but never get yoked with these people. You can't walk in love with these people, y'all. You cannot. Is this all clear to you? Ah, that's good, Maria. You're about to watch a movie called Limbo about the cold case. Nice. Yeah, Kelvin. Mercy and grace unto others is why I'm for here. That's what I'm doing right now. Praise God. God is good. Anyway, thank you all for being here. Keep on agreeing with Christ. Again, hit the like button and share this live stream. Pray about this. If this teaching applies to you, or partially or in full, doesn't matter. Where it applies, apply this knowledge to glorify them, Father. Download the links below, and I'll see you in the next live stream. Shalom.